I run a small YouTube channel where I dig into old, mostly forgotten corners of the early internet. And there's one investigation from a couple years back that I never actually finished, and never fully explained to my viewers why. Before I get into it, if this kind of thing stays with you, go ahead and subscribe, because there's more coming. It started with a tip from a longtime subscriber, an old personal homepage from the mid-90s, the kind of amateur site full of blinking text and guest books that used to be everywhere before the web got professionalized. The site itself was unremarkable, a hobbyist's page about amateur radio, nothing worth a full video on its own. What caught my attention was a single broken link buried near the bottom of the page, pointing to a subdomain that, according to the Wayback Machine, had been archived exactly once, years after the main site itself had gone dark, and then never touched again. When I pulled up that lone archived snapshot, it wasn't the amateur radio content at all, just a plain page with a short block of text, oddly formal in tone, describing a physical address somewhere in the Midwest and a set of instructions for mailing a letter, no explanation of who should send it or why. I found this strange enough to mention briefly in a video, mostly as a passing curiosity, and moved on to other research without thinking much more about it. About a week after that video went up, I started getting comments and messages from a small handful of viewers claiming they'd actually looked up the address I'd casually mentioned on screen and found that it corresponded to a real, still-standing residential property, currently listed as vacant according to public records. A few of them, more out of curiosity than anything serious, said they'd actually gone ahead and mailed short, harmless letters to the address, just to see what, if anything, would happen. For the most part, nothing did, and I mostly forgot about the whole thing, chalking it up to an odd, dead-end curiosity, the kind every internet mystery channel eventually runs into and quietly drops. Then, about a month later, one of those viewers messaged me again, this time considerably more shaken than the lighthearted tone of the original comment. They said they'd received a response in the mail, handwritten, addressed specifically to them by name, despite having sent their letter anonymously with no return address or signature at all. The response itself was brief and strange, thanking them for writing and asking, very simply, whether they'd like to be added to a list, with no further explanation offered as to what that list actually was. I asked to see a photo of it, and when they sent one over, the handwriting matched. Stroke for stroke as far as either of us could tell, the handwriting shown in that single archived snapshot from years earlier, the one nobody but a small number of my viewers had likely ever actually seen. I reached out to a couple of the others who'd mentioned sending letters of their own, and two more confirmed, independently, that they'd received similarly brief, similarly personalized responses despite never having included their names anywhere in what they'd sent. I never made a follow-up video about any of this, and I've quietly decided not to encourage anyone else to try mailing that address themselves, not out of any specific fear exactly, more a general sense that I'd rather not find out what being